Happy Manifesting Monday. Okay, y'all, so today let's get down to the truth. And the truth is that this is the safest that human beings have ever been in the history of the world. Why do I say that? Let's look at something like the COVID virus. It's the biggest global pandemic that we had in about 100 years. What percentage of the global population do you believe were unalived as a result of the COVID virus? When I ask this question to most people, they say they think that it was anywhere between 3% and 10%. Based on the news media and coverage, you would think that most people were dying, but the reality is it's less than 1% of the global population were unalived as a result of the COVID virus. To be exact, it's less than 0.5% were unalived as a result of the COVID virus. Now, let's go back to some of the other global pandemics, big ones that have affected large groups of people. If we go back to the bubonic plague, over 500 million people were unalived as a result of the bubonic plague. And at that time, that was about 50% of the global population. But if we fast forward a little more recently into the 20th century, in 1918, 1919, there was the Spanish flu. As a result of the Spanish flu, 50 million people were unalived as a result of the Spanish flu. And at that time, depending on the reference, that would have been anywhere between 3 and 5% of the global population. Now, if you take that in comparison to where we are today, it is miraculous that with something that was so deadly that less than 1%, less than 0.5% of people were unalived as a result of the COVID virus. Now, let's look at what we're facing today. We all know what's in the current news. If we look at past wars, the most lives that were lost in past wars was in World War II. In World War II, there were about 80 million people killed as a result of World War II. If we look at the Vietnam War, there were 3 million dead over the course of the Vietnam War. If you look at all of the Middle Eastern wars that we've been involved in since 2001, whether it's the Iraq War, the Afghanistan War, the number would be less than 1% of the population. Now, any human life lost as a result of war, as a result of illness, is one too many. However, if we take it and look at it historically, this is the safest that human beings have been in the history of the world. But if we turn on our news every day, we would think that this is the worst that humanity has ever been in the history of the world, when the exact opposite is true. This is in no way making light of lives that were lost during the pandemic or wars. If there's one life lost, that is one life too many. But remember, in order to help our fellow man, in order to help humanity, we can't help them by bringing down our frequency to a lower vibration of fear. If we truly want to help, we would raise our vibration, and that way we can help lift them up to a higher vibration. But if both of us are in a lower vibration of fear, then that's not helping either one of us. If we go back and look at the vibrational chart, fear is on the lower spectrum of human emotion. When we keep ourselves down here in the constant state of fear, we're stopping ourselves from manifesting the things that we want in life. So let's focus our energy, thoughts, and emotions on things that we can control. What's 3 steps that we can take this week to counteract all the negativity thrown towards us? Number 1, stop consuming the news. Cut off the news. Cut off all those sources of negativity and fear. We have to focus our energy on things that we can control. As human beings, what can we control? We can only control ourselves. So what are we doing to ourselves by constantly consuming negativity through news and other media? What are we doing to ourselves? Subconsciously, we're putting ourselves in a lower level state of fear. Number 2, the most important times for the subconscious are the times before we go to sleep and the time when we wake up. When we're sleeping, we're in our subconscious realm. So before we go to sleep, we're entering the subconscious realm, and when we wake up, we're coming out of it. So what can we do to help raise our vibration without having to actively put forth any conscious effort? You can listen to Reiki music while you're sleeping. High frequency Reiki music. So two of the more popular frequencies are the 528 hertz or the 639 hertz. So listening to that high vibrational music, you can make a playlist and put it on repeat to play while sleeping. And what's the third thing we can do to help raise our vibration? Either when we get home in the evening or when we wake up in the morning, we can make a conscious effort to do some grounding. So that would mean going outside into your backyard, putting your feet on the grass, doing some deep breathing. It could be as little as 5 minutes, but that makes a huge difference in your body and pulling out those negative ions. Okay, y'all, that's it for this week, and that's it for this week's Manifesting Monday. Remember to be the light that you want to see in the world, and you already have everything you need already within you. Bye, y'all.